Howdy everybody, here for a more long-form sort of combination review and showing of what my knives are sort of designed to do. This primitive lineup, I would call it. So I'm gonna actually show the knives in work a little bit. You may see stacked up to the side, I have a few knife handles already pre-cut to size. I did that so that I wouldn't waste a bunch of time carving because I'm not the fastest at it. But those were all carved by the knife they're actually going to be attached to. Sort of just me testing out the design, seeing what I do and don't like about each. So we're going to get started. I think I'll start with the largest one first, just to show off what it's capable of. So before I get started, I should mention, the debate rages on and always will whether or not you should baton a knife, whether or not it's okay to baton a knife. But I am willing to do light duty batoning just to test the knives, see how they hold up. So if that bothers you, sorry, but I believe that a knife made from modern steel should be able to handle a little bit of this kind of light duty. Mainly because if you're going to make a handle in the field due to your handle breaking or any other reason, being able to do this really enables you to do a lot more. Hope I'm still in shot. So right there, we've split this down the middle. We could split all the way through or leave it a little attached, doesn't much matter. But now we're going to lash that like so. But right like that, as you can already see, that gives you a much larger, much more capable, much more comfortable handle. So I'm actually going to make a cut and do a quick bit of bind rope, just some twine that I had laying around or something like that. But, give you an idea of what you can do with these if this is all you had, if your main knife broke, sort of what the whole idea behind these are. So we're going to take a pause so that I can wrap it, and I'll be right back. All right, here we are. Really rough, shoddy work, but just proof of concept. I wanted to get it done quick for y'all. Handles on nice and tight, let me get in a better position. Doesn't rock around, doesn't move. You could wrap the whole thing. I just did that to save time and material. But just like that, this handle is very comfortable. I mean, I would feel quite comfortable actually using this knife in this form. In fact, let's do a couple stab tests. I may get a couple splinters because I didn't finish it very nice like I said, but let's do a few stab tests to see if I'm correct in my assumption. Let's see if I hit there. Will that be in view? Yes, it will. All right, so let's stab hard. Yeah, that handle doesn't move. So, yeah, the wrap moved a little bit, but barely. If anything, it just kind of tightened it up in a few spots. But yeah, I'm gonna do a couple more that way to show you what it's like, what I mean. But for those of you who, have ever used different kind of knives with like really thin handles, you get why this is my concept. That thin knife fits nice and comfortable in your pack or in a pocket as a backup, and it works fine for light tasks. But now with this heavy handle, I can really carve some heavy material. In fact, before I start the next one, let's grab, this isn't very tough material. This is just a rotten piece of a tree that fell, the tree around us, but oh yeah, that is so much more comfortable. I don't know how in view I am right now, but that is so much more comfortable than it started. I could use that for a long time. And again, that's not even a well done, well finished example. That's just roughly split and put to work. Let's see. Yep. Leave that there for the rest of the testing. Let's do the miniature version next. All right. Miniature version, like I said, kind of an atlatl size, but you could use it in place of a, something else. Let's see, is what I'm doing in view? Not really. Okay. I'll just put it right here. But yeah, again, something small, lightweight, easy to carry everywhere you go, but capable enough to be used as a main knife. Now this one's twisting out funny because of the knots. But I'm going to see. Sorry, let me get back in view. But I've split it about halfway. Now let's see if I just jam it in. I'll need to split it just a little further. But these are all hand forged by me, by the way. I've been assuming this whole time anyone watching is already a fan, but these are hand forged by me. I'm a blacksmith and a permaculture gardener. But if you're into this sort of thing, right about there is almost deep enough. But if you're into this sort of thing, please consider subscribing, supporting me on Patreon, all that sort of stuff. That handle twisted a lot, so that's going to be really awkward to try to lash. I could just lash it down and ignore it and use it like that, but I am going to cut the camera, carve it out. Well, no, I won't cut the camera. You know what? Lets you see it in action a little more. And show off what I mean by a lot of what I'm saying. So, split it all the way down, pop it in half, and now you can kind of see it's all twisted. So this side's relatively flat, but still we're going to just use the knife to carve flats. You know, using it without a handle on it, it's not the most comfortable knife in the world, but it's not too sharp, it's not too rough. And again, I'm not going for anything perfect on here by any means either, but just enough that I can lay that knife on something flat when I get it in there. Yeah, I got to carve more to be able to get it flat. And of course you can make this as nice as you want. I'm doing it quickly both for the sake of the video and for the sake of, you know, if this is going to be a backup knife, I want to show how quickly you can get this backup into function as a real functional blade. Of course, you know, if you've only got the mini, you're limited by size no matter what, but you can still put more handle on there. All right, that's kind of flat. Start out on the next one. Just try to get a lot of that twist out. That's the name of the game here. The wood used, oh sorry, you'll hear my folks in the background, but the wood used was invasive Bradford pear. Like most fruit trees, it's relatively tough. It's not the toughest thing on earth, but it's relatively tough. But right there, after a real quick carving, take a look at this knife. There's still some gaps. I'm going to do some more work on it, but yeah, I'm sure you're getting the idea of what the goal is with this sort of blade. So I'm going to pause, wrap it, and go over a bit more about it, show it off a bit. So I'll be right back. All right, it's not as pretty. There's a little bit more gaps, but this actually is really crazy tight. Because I split it all the way through, I could reattach that split, make it all mesh together perfectly at the bottom, then carve out a gap for the knife at the top. And again, if this is all you had, if this little knife was all you were going to be able to do to cut things with, this is so much more comfortable to cut with and use than just the knife by itself. But it's a lot more bulky. So you can carry the knife without taking up any pocket space or bag space, but then actually use it like it's a much bigger knife. I mean, you could even chop with it a little bit. Granted, this is pretty rotten wood, but it's comfortable. And it doesn't move around. Same deal here. Sinks in nice and deep. So there's one knife, two knife. And I think I'll do one more in this video, because the others are, like I said, just prototypes. But there is one more knife here that I have actually already got up on my Etsy. Well, the others are sort of previews. This snail-shaped herb chopper, which comes in a few forms, this is already available. I sell it and it's a Scottish flint and steel striker, but instead of using it as a striker, I thin out and bevel this bottom into a nice round razor blade. Usable just like a razor blade, easy to resharpen, great little pinch knife. This, in my mind, is an exact one-to-one of an ancient flint flake. When you made tools out of flint, you got flakes that were very sharp, and people would oftentimes use them like little utility knives. This, to me, fills that same niche in my primitive lineup. Something that you can cut with in a pinch grip, but if you're using this all day, or using this a lot, a pinch grip gets really hard on your hands really fast. So I'm going to show you what a hoko knife is. And the other one that looks more like a razor blade can also be made into a hoko knife, and also can be used just the same as a pinch blade. Right now I've got just a little artificial sinew on it, but it doesn't need that to work. But just use it as a pinch blade and cut with it. It works just fine. But when you make them into hoko blades, they become far more efficient. So let's take a pause, make a hoko knife, maybe two, and I'll see you in just a little bit. Alright, and last one for this video, the hoko knife. Simple, sort of the caveman's X-Acto knife. Something to give a razor blade a handle so it was more comfortable to use. You can still choke up on it, of course, but with that handle back there, it's a lot more like using a regular knife, despite the fact that it's only a flake or a pinch little knife. I didn't bring out much to show off cutting on. This is just sort of a proof of concept, but you can see I can bear down enough that my thumb goes white. Really pressing enough that it slides a little. I definitely was in a rush, but yeah, that's the basics of a hoko knife. So I'm hoping to continue selling this model, but also start selling that other model as a hoko knife. I should have left a little more length on the end so I could tighten it on the end there. That would make it even tighter. But I pretty much just thinned out a stick, split half of it off, thinned it down, and thinned down the end even further so that I could wrap it like that. But that's a hoko knife. So if you're interested in any of those, let me know. And beyond just those, I will have more videos on some of my experimental ones on the future. So hopefully you can tell me if you have any interest in them. But the other three blades that I will probably do a follow-up video on, that arrowhead I mentioned with a socket, ended up not liking it. This I think I'll change a lot more. I'll give it a longer tail, and I think I'll give it a tail out the front so you can flash the front and back, you know, more like a hoko knife. And lastly, I don't think I'll go with this design for the tang, but a simple arrowhead. You could call it a bird point or an arrowhead, whichever you really want to call it, but I believe that is more than enough to take down a whitetail if you put it in the right spot. I've seen people hunt with far smaller arrowheads and be successful. And as a simple backup knife, gripping it like this, great for scoring, great for little jobs, but you can lash this on a handle as well. And I'll show that off in another video. But hopefully you all enjoyed this video. I may go and find something to cut up with these blades before I put them back away, but that'll all be in another video. So I hope to see you all again sometime. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope this was interesting and you learned something. But yeah, if nothing else, check out my Etsy shop, Speedy Snail Steelwork, or my Patreon, Speedy Snail Homestead, or just Speedy Snail. Thank you very much, and goodbye, everybody.